So I guess the cops see me walk to the shopping center to get some pizza, and now they're checking over here, which I guess I'm gonna have to do in part 2 because I'm not really gonna have enough time to talk about the whole situation right here, if this is even visible. So there's 2 cop cars. At least it's not like in some other states where there's like hundreds of people in one cop car. I don't know if this is even visible. That's the cop, if you can see that. Honestly, I should talk about the whole situation. And now they're walking to the front. Also probably not really visible, but yeah, when I finally make the video about what the situation is when I have time, it's pretty much just some racial stuff that I've noticed everywhere I've went. But now I actually have like someone else that's noticed it that I could actually talk about the whole thing with. And I guess to summarize, I could say that white people take their anger out about their drug issues in their community on people who aren't on drugs. That's like the summary. I've noticed this everywhere I've went, and of course, like when I first escaped my cash for kids system and other abuse situations, I was in Cali for like, I don't know, 3 years, something like that almost. Maybe not really, I don't even know, but since 2023. So yeah, I guess my counting may be off. Before that I was like in the East Coast, mostly the South, but that's one of the first places where I noticed like their community's drug issues, and I had heard people talk about it before, and I noticed more and more that they really try to make it seem like a homeless issue, but the homeless part is so irrelevant, to be honest. That's just what they want to paint it as. Yeah, they're walking around, and one of the dudes they're looking for who sits over there sometimes, he's not even there. But that's what they're trying to get. But I guess I could go ahead and like say a little bit. So like, pretty much, I guess I could say, since I've been where I've been at, I've just been at the library too much and too many people are talking about me. And then there's another dude, his mom died like a little while ago. And he's been coming around here. But he wasn't even homeless at first either. And all the different little situations that went down after his mom died, and different like family things broke out. And so he's been working a job, and he's waiting for to get housing because he's already been on the list. And he doesn't really come around that often, but the last few weeks he is here off and on, but still not that often because he usually gets a hotel room. And pretty much there's just been a whole bunch of bullcrap going down, especially since I came around. And like a lot of people have been reporting him and me. I guess that means I need to go ahead and move because I guess they're about to come back around. Or they're about to drive through. I was about to say. I'm not even recording, I'm recording the ground. But they do crap like that. But yeah, really they're looking for me. But I guess that means it's probably about time for me to go ahead to the hotel. But yeah. And it's so weird though, because I don't even sleep over there. And I don't know if that's what they're trying to paint the picture as or not. I need to go ahead and move though. But like I said, I don't really get why they're even like, I don't get why they're at the shopping center either. Nobody sleeps over there. And the thing is, kind of like me and that dude are being told, pretty much people don't want us around, so they're reporting us. So they're looking for me. I guess I've already started talking about the situation, so I might as well keep going. They're looking for me, or really harassing me, because I mean, obviously I'm right here, so if they really wanted to arrest me, they could. They probably will, to be honest. But it's like, I'm trying to think what else I was about to say. what else was I about to say? I got so, like, off and on topic. But yeah, so I think I finished the main summary of the whole situation with the dude. Pretty much since I came around, I guess people have had more questions. And I mean, like the dude was telling me, his nephew is on the security guards' bosses that work at the library and even the medical center right beside it. And pretty much they had a lot of complaints on them. And so they're already really funny acting to pretty much everybody. But of course, when people feel like you're in a certain situation, even if you're not in that situation, well, I guess I can't even say that. People know you don't have anybody, more so. I think that's the biggest part with that. They'll pretty much know they could do whatever they want to you just about. And like oh dang, I'm still zoomed in. There's nobody to really like say anything or come looking, or at least that's how they feel. Cause like the dude was telling me, the security guard at the library and the medical center, more so library, their jobs have already kind of been at risk anyways because they keep getting reported so much for doing bullcrap to people. I may have to pause this though. But what else was I gonna say? I don't even remember. I guess the moral of the story is some white people that are on hardcore drugs, which I'm not even like trying to blame them for like the situation they ended up in or for how they're coping. It's just like the system, not even the system around, the people around, because it's the people in quote unquote functional society that really like cause all the extra issues and stuff. So the people around make the situation really bad for everybody because they're upset that their people have serious drug issues. They're mad that the quote-unquote black people that they feel are in certain situations or maybe are in certain situations aren't on drugs and aren't on hardcore substances. They're mad that they do more drugs statistically. And so when the white people who are on those hardcore whatever in the world do the stuff they do well on those substances, they take their anger out on everybody else around. And this is something I even used to talk about with this lady back in Cali, which luckily she of course got out the situation. In fact, she hadn't even like been homeless that long, and that's another thing, but that's like another video where I could talk about how people who haven't been in the situation for that long, or it's their first time being in that situation, at least to like a certain extent, they get treated like they've been in that situation like for 95 years or something. But anyway, yeah, so this lady in Cali, we would talk about this all the time. It was very obvious that a lot of white people felt really upset that all their people were on hardcore drugs, and that the only people who were homeless and weren't on hardcore drugs are like really messed up were the quote-unquote black people, which I mean, a lot of them thought that we were like Mexican, but I'm not even going to go into that. But still, that made a lot of people really mad, and they like refused to accept the fact that we're not on crack. Which I mean, honestly, with all the stuff that is out here, I wonder like who's even really still doing crack. Are people really still doing that? It seems like there's so much other stuff out here that people are doing. And really, with their crack accusations, that's really about the whole thing where the FBI, doctors, lawyers, etc. have put drugs in the quote-unquote black communities. But, I mean, other than that, who's even really doing crack? It's like, isn't everybody on Fetty now? But yeah, they just felt really upset about that. And they'd be like, you have to be on something because we're all on something. It's like, that's what I was going to talk about too in the West Coast projection video. So I'm getting too excited. When I was going to make that, I was going to talk about how like, it's not even just a West Coast thing, but really, these white areas with all this drug stuff going on because they don't police their own crime, especially with like the drugs, they have this projection that they like to do where it's like, because I was on drugs, or because we're on drugs, everybody else is, or because we're doing all this, everyone else is. Like, it seems like a lot of white people like to act like the whole world is Slab City. Like, really, they act like the whole world is Slab City. Just because they're Slab City. But, yeah, so I guess I could get to the point now. So, these two people, this dude and his girlfriend, are on whatever all they're on, which, like I said, that's not even really the point, and I'm not trying to, like, talk junk about anyone. But due to that, they have, like, the different little health issues you get from that, which, like I said before, one thing that I've realized in researching my iatrogenic illness and being in the homeless scene, especially in Cali, is that I have a lot of the same health issues that they have. Or at least I did, but I've been, like, fixing a lot of that stuff. But yeah, from, like, it messing up the pancreas, liver, kidneys, digestion. So due to that, they pretty much, like, have diarrhea all the time, it looks like. So they use the bathroom, like, everywhere, and then they, like, have diarrhea everywhere, which they're not even around that often either. But it's very obvious that they at least do come around the library to, like, use the bathroom every now and then, because there's only people doing it, and the staff know that. And so pretty much what I notice is that like, they use the bathroom everywhere, the staff know, the staff or the maintenance dude just cleaned it up, and he hosed down the library porch and the medical center porch, and they even would, like, use the bathroom everywhere, and then they just, like, lay right beside, and they threw food everywhere. Although that was while high, most of that throwing food, so that wasn't really, like, on purpose, but they're on whatever spices, and then probably some other stuff. And so they did all that, and of course they didn't, like, get the police called on them. In fact, the dude I was talking about earlier, he told me about how even their friends had told him, which I was even sitting right there during the conversation, their friends, the two people's friends, told him that the boyfriend dude even has some warrants out. And it's like, if I was to literally crap everywhere at any time of day, or lay somewhere in broad daylight while they're open, which they do that too sometimes when they're around, I would probably have a life sentence and be charged with capital murder. It's like I always say, I get arrested every 3 months, so I can only imagine what would happen if I was running around, like, just doing drugs outside and crapping everywhere and peeing everywhere, and like, the dude even broke a window there. In fact, the guy was telling me that's why there's a sign up that says no loitering, but their supervisor said the sign actually needs to be taken down because that's actually a public place, and they're not really supposed to tell people that they can't sit at the benches outside the library. So I found out that people telling me that was bull crap. And I mean, I kind of assumed that, though. It's like people, like, seeing me alone and just, like, having their little different assumptions. It kind of only makes them feel like they can tell me whatever and do whatever. And that's one thing I can totally say, though. Since, like, really being out, because of course, like, I mean, when you're in certain abuse situations, you're usually going to be, like, pretty isolated and you don't really go out much. So, like, really being out since leaving, I have definitely seen a lot of, well, I wouldn't even say that. I've been in too many situations where I know that if, like, my parents are with me, or whoever, really just somebody that's older than me, if they were with me, then certain people wouldn't do and say the things that they say. Especially when it comes to police and, like, people who own stores and want to act funny, different things like that. It just wouldn't happen if, like, someone who's older was with me. So, yeah. In fact, no, this reminds me of this one thing. When I was in Cali, I met this guy, because he worked outside this store that I was sleeping outside of at one point in time after I, like, a long story of me, like, getting kind of quote-unquote kicked out of the mountain that I was staying in, or, like, the mountain cliff type thing that I was staying on at that point in time, which was supposed to be, like, temporary anyways, but I was so-called kicked out. And so then I found this other spot. So then I met this dude who worked in the store there. And, like, I noticed that whenever I went places with him, I didn't, like, deal with any of the bull crap that I usually would when I'm in stores. So what I learned is that if I can get a white guy to take me places, less bull crap will happen. Honestly, less bull crap will happen, especially if I'm with the dude in general. But, yeah, that's what that taught me. He was nice, but, like, his family was pretty racist, though, and they were always telling him to, like, pretty much be paranoid and wary of me and making up all these stories about me being a criminal, which, I mean, of course, with the whole homeless thing, and of course the fact that white people think I'm like 10 supposedly, or they think I'm like 11 or 12, there was that. So, I mean, technically if you are kicked out or whatever, you're not living with like some older person that is like illegal, but I mean, they're like trying to make it seem like I was a thief and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So that was pretty messed up, but he was still pretty nice. And being around him definitely did make me think more about these different situations. But to get back to the point though, because I think I went off way somewhere else. There was this one little situation where I was sitting outside the library. And they were about to open, and this one security guard was like, how long are you going to be sitting right here? And I was like, I'm about to go inside when they open in a couple minutes. And she was like, okay, good, so you're not going to still be here when I come back around. And yeah, so definitely it's a lot of mess. And that, it really goes into like something else I really want to make a video about. Even when it comes to expats, people that like travel to different countries and stuff, and they get on airplanes and boats. I've noticed that if you're a street kid, of course if you're homeless in general, because you're just going to deal with like homeless hate. If you just travel, you're a nomad, or if you're an expat, I could definitely say that the most bull crap and racism you'll experience is going to be when you're in any of those situations or doing any of those things. But like, I mean, of course it's like a spiritual side to it too. People manifest a lot around me. And then of course there's the whole Marine Kingdom agent thing, but that's still like a different situation than like this stuff. Other than when it's like Jezebelic people. But like I said in that video, Chomos and other types of essayers are all Marine Kingdom agents. And I could even say that like a lot of these people are like Jezebelic Marine Kingdom agents maybe. But another thing though, there's something else I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, because I didn't get back to the point. So yeah, like these people never get the police called on them. Like when I was in Cali, that whole situation I mentioned before, where cops wanted to find a reason to throw me in jail, so they were trying to act like I do drugs and had drugs, and so they got mad that I didn't have any like drugs and that I wasn't like on anything, and then they were mad about that and started talking junk to me. And it's like, in a place where people stand on the street and overdose and die, and there's even companies that come and give out needles and drugs for quote-unquote harm reduction, how are you guys gonna try to like arrest me and put me in jail for having and doing drugs supposedly, but people sit around and do drugs all day here because it's legal? And that's exactly why they have the drug issues they do. That's a small reason why. And then they want to talk about some homeless drug crisis. There is no homeless drug crisis. There's the same thing that's been going on, which is that white people do more drugs statistically. And there's a trauma side and the fact that it's a coping mechanism. But I mean, if the drugs weren't so readily available and easy for them to get in, and like people didn't go to jail for it, or at least for selling it and stuff, which I mean the big pharma, they're the ones who make this stuff. But if it wasn't that, then people, they just still wouldn't be able to have the issue like they do, because it just wouldn't be so easy to get. And then also another thing that I realized is that since like white people are really atheistic, it's another thing that adds to them like being more depressed and not having hope. So like they don't see a reason to like not use and like just make things worse and worse for themselves, because they don't really see anything wrong with it, and they don't really see anything else in life, and like they don't really like see purpose or hope, the afterlife, the now life, nothing. Like I would say, if a lot of them were listening to the school bullcrap and the scientific eugenics evolution bullcrap, then a lot of the people who are using wouldn't be. But they do, because they just see themselves as nothing, and they don't like see anything in life. But yeah, so I don't even know if I explained this good, but I've talked about it plenty of times before. Maybe not in depth enough, but yeah, they just like really feel some type of way about like who doesn't have the issues that they want them to have, so they can feel better about themselves. But yeah, it's still crazy though, because it's like they use the bathroom everywhere, and then you guys call the police on me. And I don't even know if I mentioned the fact in the beginning that the dude I was talking about earlier, he told me the cops had ran up on him, and they were talking about we thought you were somebody else. Just like they just did. And then they tried to act like it was an accident, but they were hoping he was there today. But he's not, because he's at a room, maybe still at work, one of those. And they tried to do it again, but they claimed it was an accident. And then he said that some of them work at his job too, so he's gonna report them. And then there was another thing he said. Oh yeah, he was like, when they ran up on him, they were talking about let everybody around here know, and then they said like something about him telling people about being around there, some bullcrap. And he was like, first of all, who is everybody? Because I don't know everybody. Because of course they want to try to lump us in with their people and their issues, because they don't want to put them in jail, even though the dude has warrants. They don't want to put them in jail while they like use the bathroom everywhere and do all the stuff they're doing and breaking windows. But they want to put us in jail for something that their people are doing. So they're trying to like, I don't even know, what is it, projection? But yeah, that's something I've noticed so much in different places. So it's like pretty much, if a white person, like, I don't know, went somewhere and peed on a window and I'm nearby, I'm going to jail. Or if like they OD on whatever in the world, no, I wouldn't even say that. If they're selling drugs to somebody, they're not going to go to jail, but the cops will come and arrest me, because we don't want to arrest them for what they did, so we're going to act like you did it because we're mad. I don't even know how to put it. It's just like a lot of weird stuff that they do. So yeah.